Welcome to Kit Katastrophe. My name is Kit, and today we'll be taking a look at Transformers War for Cybertron Siege Deluxe Class IRONHIDE. This figure came out in 2019 as part of Wave 2 of the Deluxe assortment. Feast your eyes and be amazed. We finally have a breadloaf van alternate mode for an IRONHIDE in the Chug range. Albeit this is his Cybertronian form, but it's progress. Yes, those of us who have been in the fandom at least as long as I have know that IRONHIDE hasn't exactly gotten the best figures in, well, his entire existence. Unfortunately for you, but fortunately for me, I haven't any of his prior incarnations in those lines, so I don't have to suffer for your enjoyment. That being said, this big red box is a very welcome return to form. Obviously not entirely faithful to his original incarnation, he sure as hell hits enough points to be a very satisfying and chunky road machine. If I had to guess the purpose of this vehicle, it'd be cargo transport, though that's probably just my Earthican sensibilities talking. He features a very nicely painted golden stripe on his sides, as well as another silver bar running across the top panels. Maybe those could be lights? Speaking of lights, he's got 4 lit up at the front with 4 more implied fog lights flanking them. These are 5mm ports, so let your imagination run wild. Oh! And he has an opening canopy, with a head stuffed inside. Around the back, he's pretty brazen with the exposed feet, and his arms are pretty obvious as well. Why Hasbro decided to retool him into crosshairs instead of Snowcat, I'll never sympathize. Transformation is a nice simple breeze, and mostly goes how you'd expect. Sadly, despite its simplicity, it's also rather frustrating due to the flimsy nature of the joints connecting the side panels to his legs. The one on IRONHIDE's right leg is especially guilty of this. Anyway, the real surprise of the transformation comes in the way the torso spins around on a massive rotation joint roughly parallel to his spine. I really appreciate this bit of added effort, especially considering that a simple waist swivel could have worked. Though, now that I think about it, this actually saves on parts count. After the head reveal, you close the canopy on a double hinge that's easy to miss the first couple times. Leak and lubricant, this robot mode looks awesome. Standing tall and proud, this is the IRONHIDE that fans have been clamoring for ages to get. He's just a simple red and gray boxman with no panel-heavy transformation or combining gimmick to compromise it. And yes, I do mean tall and proud, since he's easily one of the tallest deluxes in the Siege toy line, standing head and shoulders above the likes of Prowl and Refractor, and inching out against lanky boys like Six Gun. Speaking of head and shoulders, the head sculpt is undoubtedly IRONHIDE, with its laconic hexnut mohawked crimson helmet, and the grizzled face of an experienced warrior. Slap on some sunglasses and he'd be jamming out to Hearts of IRONHIDE. Sadly, around the back he features some voids in his spine and forearms. I can forgive them, but I know some people can't. Discounting that and those annoying leg panels, I'd say this robot mode is brilliant. IRONHIDE comes with just one accessory, the W35 LR Doomblast Forge Launcher. This absolute behemoth of a missile launcher is cast in gray plastic, but features the lion's share of IRONHIDE's weathering budget. It also features 2 pegs on the danger end to fit a fire blast effect part. He can't exactly hold it in his hand without fully straightening his arm, but the 3 separate pegs allow for a multitude of storage options. One I'm fond of is hooking it into one of the fog lights on IRONHIDE's shoulder, though it's not the best fit. However, folding down the rocket shooty bit on its hinge transforms the rocket launcher into a massive hammer, perfect for pummeling. What to say about IRONHIDE? Well, for starters, he's pretty basic. At the head, he has a simple ball joint that can rotate 360 degrees around, and it doesn't have much in the way of nodding, but if you can eke something out of that, that's okay. And he doesn't really have much of a tilt either. As soon as you let go, it usually just pops back into place. At the shoulder, he has a universal joint, a swivel, this way, forward and backward, that's, as you can see, unimpeded, and a hinge that goes all the way outwards. Plus, there's another joint in here for transformation that has a little bit of a wiggle, meaning that you can adjust it ever so slightly. So, yeah, he looks like he's trying to fly. The bicep has a simple mushroom swivel that goes all the way around, and the elbow is just under 90 degrees, which is, of course, the baseline for a good elbow in my book. The waist is another simple mushroom swivel that goes all the way around. It's a little tighter than most of the other joints, but that's okay. The hips are universal joints that go forward and backward all the way until they hit the rest of the body, and they go all the way out, which is pretty nifty. As you can see, they're a little loose, but they'll play nice when you're posing. The knees are just about 90 degrees, which is pretty good, and the thigh swivels are a simple mushroom swivel, just like the bicep. And finally, he has an ankle tilt that goes all the way, so he can scrape his nuts on the floor if you feel like that. One little caveat that I'd like to showcase here is that these shin panels, this one comes off very easily. It looks like the plastic making up the hinge is a little warped, like as you can see. If you can see that, it looks like this part's coming out this way a little, so it makes it pretty loose. The other one stays on just fine, but they don't really tab in place very well, so just be mindful of that. It's not a huge problem. It certainly can get annoying, but you should be fine. Siege Ironhide is a joy of a transformer, combining the long-awaited G1 slavishness with a fresh spin on the Siege weapon system, and a decent range of posability to boot. He's definitely the best take on a Chug Ironhide we've gotten so far, and he fits super well as a companion to either Optimus Prime or Chromia. There's really nothing else I can say to convince you that this figure is good. If you like what you see, you'll love what you get. This has been Katastrophe. Transform and roll out.